You're listening to The Diarist, a Red Couch Black Dog production. Episode 9, The Seeds of Jealousy.
Guiding Light, presented by Ivory Soap, the most famous soap in the world, and Does, the soap that does everything in your washing machine.
There's still that doubt in my mind, Dr. Keeler.
I see. I wish I could tell you a few things.
Such as?
But I can't.
There's no reason for Kathy to continue to hold me at arm's length. Unless she really wants a divorce. And if she does...
Yes?
Well, I can come to several conclusions.
Go on.
Mr. Hayes' desk.
Hello, may I speak with Mr. Hayes?
I'm sorry. He asked me to hold all calls this morning.
Who's speaking?
This is Miss Maude, Mr. Hayes' secretary.
Well, Miss Maude, this is Andrea Davies. Mr. Hayes' I manage his household affairs.
Oh, I know who you are, Miss Davies. Let me see if he's available. Mr. Hayes?
What is it? I'm trying to concentrate. What's so important?
Miss Davies.
Is unacceptable.
I'm
trying
sorry.
to concentrate.
I'm sorry. He's very busy. May I take a message?
That won't be necessary.
He asked me to.
Well, tell him I have nothing to say to him. And you should mind your own business. How dare he? Of course you knew who I was. And worse than his lunatic wife, I'm his... Richard?
No, darling, it's Father.
Oh, hello.
You sound disappointed to hear from me.
No, it's not that. I have a couple of hours before I pick up Margot, and I'm just bored is all.
No, I can understand that. Why don't you meet me for lunch?
No, I have too much to do.
I thought you said you were bored.
That's just it. I'm bored with my life, but I have too much to do. Suddenly I'm a wife and mother, but I have none of the benefits.
Well?
How's Mother?
Oh, she's the same, stewing constantly, but she's made quite a friend in Agatha Morris. We're going up to the lake house next weekend.
But isn't next weekend Thanksgiving?
Mother says the Morrises have a holiday tradition.
How could you be so cruel? I expected from Mother, but from you?
What do you mean?
Why in the world would you pursue a friendship with the Morrises? I suppose when he meets a new girl, you'll just adopt her as your daughter. Oh. You'd both like that, wouldn't you?
Now, Andrea, you know that's a very childish attitude. Darling?
It isn't. And if you thought about it for one moment, you'd see it's revenge for my breakup with Stephen.
Mother genuinely likes Agatha and Tom.
I'm sure she does. Oh, I'm sure she does. More than her own...
Well, what would you prefer?
I don't know.
What are your plans for Thanksgiving?
Never mind.
Darling, do you have any plans?
No, of course not. I don't. I have nothing and no one anymore.
Well, then I'll stay back and we'll go for Chinese food, play cribbage.
Honestly? You'd do that?
No, you know I would. Darling, I love you.
I'll think about it. Say, Father, would you be opposed to coming here to dinner one night this week?
Oh, not at all.
You wouldn't have to tell Mother.
Oh, she knows we differ on the topic.
It's quite a way to put it.
What night?
Let me check with Richard. I'd love for you to meet Margot and get to know Richard.
Darling, are you all right? Are you happy?
I'm in love with Richard. But you already knew that.
I'm worried.
Don't be. I'll try to reach Richard and call you back.
All right. Are we still meeting Wednesday in the park for our regular lunch date?
Yes. Even in this cold weather, I wouldn't miss our frankfurters and sauerkraut.
All right, sweetheart. I love you.
I love you too.
Mr. Hayes' desk. Velvet speaking.
Velvet?
Yes, Miss Velvet Maude.
Velvet. I'd like to speak to Mr. Hayes. It's urgent.
Is this Miss Davies again?
That's right, this is she.
May I tell him the nature of the call?
No, you may not. Tell him it's urgent.
Mr. Hayes?
I asked you not to interrupt my work. It's very disruptive.
Miss Davies?
That's enough. All right, Velvet. Go ahead. Connect her to my office. Andrea, is something wrong?
Richard. No, It's silly, but
What's going on, darling?
I wanted to hear your voice. I'm bored. I'm lonely, Richard.
I'm very busy this morning. Velvet and I are trying to get this campaign out. It's a very tight schedule.
What sort of name is Velvet?
Andrea, please.
Well, I used to be the one working on campaigns. I miss it, and now she's helping you.
Andrea, I'm very busy.
I feel like you don't love me at all.
Because I have my secretary help me get a campaign out?
Yes, but I feel like you have squeezed me out, and now I'm...
That's quite a paranoid thing to say. I thought you wanted to... Can we talk later? I don't want to get into this now. You know I love you, don't you? Darling, tell me you love me too, so I can go back to work.
I love you. Oh, Richard, there is a reason I called.
What is it, darling?
I invited Father over to meet you and Margot for dinner. I thought I'd make a pot roast and gravy. I'd get some of those, julienne green beans. They're so good with crispy onion.
Really? Do you need my help to plan the dinner?
No, I just wanted to make sure it was all right with you.
Well, I'd be honored to meet your father, to get to know him. I am going to spend the rest of my life with you. I want to meet your father. It's time Margot met her grandfather, too.
All right, darling. Richard.
Yes?
I'm sorry for my petulance. I just get so bored here at home without you. Maybe I'm a little jealous of Velvet, too. Velvet.
I love you. Try to focus on your household work and Margot. Don't be bored, darling. If you're bored with making a life for us, I can't help but think you're bored with me.
No, of course not. I just miss you is all. I think of you every minute.
It was worth all the silliness just to hear you say that. I love you. Please don't worry and keep yourself busy. You're trouble when you're bored.
I suppose you're right.
I'd been writing for hours. That's what I did after Richard left with Margot, to go sleep at his Manhattan apartment. I wrote in my diary. How do you suppose it feels to be me? It seemed with nothing else in my life, I orbited around Richard. Had I emptied myself? Is that what love is? If so, then why shouldn't I have acted like a child to get his attention? He liked it, I could tell. He liked having me so dependent on him. Oh, those were the dark days, for that kind of hunger deepens the need. Desperation becomes obsession, a terrible, vicious cycle. Sometimes I'd write his name in the center page of my diary. Like a schoolgirl, I'd write my name underneath and circle them both with a heart. To suppress my longing, I'd fill the page with "I love Richard." I had hoped it would be a counting sheep. It would put me to sleep. I'd tell myself not to call, not to beg, but during those dark days, I always did.
Hello?
Darling, I'm sorry to call.
What is it?
I can't sleep. I'm worried.
Darling, it's 2 o'clock in the morning.
If you leave me, I'll have no one. I have no one to talk to.
Don't be silly. Don't be a silly girl.
Won't you come over?
I can't leave Margot.
Elizabeth is there, isn't she? Margot is asleep, I'm sure of it. She won't know you're gone. Why do you choose to stay there and not with me?
Darling, you're overreacting. You must have woken from a bad dream. I can't come over there at 2 in the morning. You know that.
Why am I alone? You said that I was going to be your wife, but I'm here alone. I miss you, don't you know that? Don't you care?
Andrea, I have to go back to sleep. I have an important meeting tomorrow.
You see? I used to know all of that. That was my life too. Your meetings, the campaigns. Now you leave me here wanting, missing you. I used to be your secretary. I could see you every day.
What are you saying? Do you want to go back to the firm? Back where people are saying unkind things about you? I've been trying to repair your reputation by keeping our affair a secret.
Unkind? They are saying the truth. I've backed myself into a corner, I'm afraid. An affair? You see, how can I...
Darling, I want you to hang up the phone and go to sleep. You're upsetting yourself with your wild imagination. I will come see you at lunchtime.
Tell me one thing. Why did you marry Margaret?
What does Margaret have to do with anything?
She is your wife! More lies! Just tell me! Why did you marry a girl who didn't...
I'm not answering your hysterical questions. I'm insisting you hang up the phone and calm down.
No! Please tell me. Just tell me. Don't hang up, darling.
Andrea, I'm going to hang up now. Please don't make me upset with you. I do not want to be upset with you.
Just alone. I'm here alone, and you're...
Andrea, you're waking up the entire house. You're being irrational.
All right, then. I'll hang up. But, Richard, I'm going to leave you if you don't come over tonight. I mean it. I'm going to change the locks and find a new job and never see you again.
Why would you say such a thing? Andrea, why?
Don't you ever presume I don't have choices. I'm sure Stephen Morris
Andrea,
is still interested.
Please calm down.
I don't love you.
Is that right?
I
don't you dare say it, just to make me jealous.
I will say it. Again and again. I don't love you! There, you see? I said it. I knew if I made him angry with me, it would pique his need for domination. He wouldn't let me have the upper hand. I didn't want the upper hand, you must know that by now. I didn't want control, I wanted his attention. That's all. I gave up my dreams for his attention, and I didn't intend to be denied. I got out of bed and dressed for him. Lingerie he'd given to me to replace my old, practical undergarments. Once I did, I put my silk robe back on and went to unlock the front door. I left it ajar and left all the lights out. I went back to bed and under the covers. It took longer than I expected. In fact, I'd fallen asleep by the time I felt his hand on my neck. When I
I opened my eyes, he was glaring at me in the dark. His eyes were fierce, both hands around my neck.
What are you doing? I can't breathe.
It is unacceptable for you to call and threaten me, to say you don't love me.
What is that you have? Is it one of my scarves?
Sit up and do as I say.
Are you angry with me? Darling, I'm
Here,
sorry.
Stand up. Now remove your robe.
What are you going to do? I've never seen you so upset. Please, I'm sorry. I called you. I didn't mean it. Of course you know I love you, darling.
Look what you're wearing underneath your robe. You're not sorry. You've manipulated me. You're cunning, aren't you, darling?
No, I was asleep. You saw that yourself.
Remove your clothes.
There. Are you happy?
No.
Should I remove my stockings?
Yes, sit on the bed and remove them. Slowly. Now give them to me.
Tell me you love me.
Lay on the bed. I'm telling you no such thing.
It hurts my wrist, Richard. It's so tight.
Turn your head to the side.
Are you going to cover my mouth with the scarf?
You'll see that I don't like women telling me what to do or when to do it. I was asleep, Andrea. I have a very important job. I hope you will learn your lesson.
Yes. I'm sorry.
And I won't have you threatening to leave me. Do you understand? Do you understand? All right. Now do as I say. Are you all right, Andrea?
Yes. Will you untie my arms?
You've cut your lip. You must have bitten it. You're bleeding, just a little. I'll get you a wet cloth.
It's all right. Just release me so I can put my arms around you.
There you are. Here you go. This is cold. No, let me do it for you. Oh, does it hurt you, darling?
Just a little. No, not very much.
Let me see your wrists. Darling, they're so red and starting to bruise. I'm afraid they'll be painful tomorrow. I'll kiss each one.
Will you hold me? Will you sleep here next to me?
Of course. Move closer so I can put my arms around you. You love me, don't you, darling?
More than anything. I'll never trick you like that again.
Hello? 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 Are you presentable? Andrea, we're here a little early.
Of course. What are you doing here so early? Oh, Margot, look at you. Look at how pretty you look.
Thank you, Miss Davis. Daddy took me shopping yesterday.
Oh, did he? Here, darling, sit down. Richard, let me get you a coffee. Would you like some pancakes, Margot?
Yes, Miss Davis.
Andrea,
Yes?
I'd like Margot to call you Mother.
Mother, but...
That's all she talks about.
But, Richard...
Isn't that right, Margot?
May I? May I, Miss Davis? I would love to have you as my mother. I don't have a real mother, you know.
Well, no, that's not true, darling. She just isn't well.
She told me she wasn't my mother. She doesn't want to be my mother.
Oh, darling. You know I love you very much. You can call me Mother, or Mommy.
All right, Mother.
May I please have my pancakes now, Mommy?
Oh, I like Mommy much better.
Not just yet. Don't you have something for your mother?
Oh, you do? What is it, darling?
Here it is. Give her the box.
Oh, a dress box. What is it?
Open it.
All right.
Look, it's almost exactly like mine. Mine's a little girl's, and yours is a lady's.
It's mother-daughter dresses.
So they are. Mine is just lovely.
Put it on. Put it on. Daddy is going to take us out on a country drive and a picnic.
Yes, darling. Go change. After Margot has her pancakes, we'll go.
The whole day?
The whole day.
Shall I go get my dollies packed up?
Yes, darling, that's a good idea. Have them bring one of the little dresses I made them in their travel case. They want to change.
You made them more clothes? Oh, yes, I will.
I'll have to think carefully about what to wear underneath.
Underneath?
Yes. You see, I have something special for you on underneath this dress. I didn't know I'd be changing into more innocent attire.
Oh, can't you just wear whatever it is with this new dress I bought you?
I don't know. What I have on, the lingerie underneath, it's not so innocent.
No?
No.
Well, my suggestion is that you simply change dresses. Leave the rest the same. Underneath, I mean. What harm can it do? That way, I can tell you later what I think.
It's a good idea. You always have good ideas, darling.
Well, on second thought, perhaps you'd better show me what you have on.
Show you?
Yes. Just a little so I can see your stockings.
Like this?
Yes.
Well, what do you think? Should I?
Oh, yes. I can see the problem now. You are not innocent at all underneath.
That's what I was trying to tell you.
No, not at all.
No, I feel just terrible.
It's not your fault, darling. You can't help yourself.
What should I do?
I suppose we'll just have to live with it.
Live with it? You mean wear this very sweet, motherly dress over this indecent lingerie? The whole entire day? Thinking of you undressing me?
I'm afraid so, darling. I wouldn't have it any other way. You went to all that trouble and... Come here.
I suppose you know best. I'll...
Mommy, look! Isn't it lovely, Daddy?
Yes, it is. Come sit down. I'll get you some juice while Mommy changes into her new dress.
Yes, darling. I'll be right there.